All right, here now with reaction is South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator, good to see you. By the way, the world is ending in 12 years.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
All right, a lot of issues here. How could anybody look in the eye of a parent that lost a kid from a heroin overdose and not say that this is manufactured, or look in the face of an angel mom or dad, same issue there, and not even be willing to talk about the issue with the president when it's life and death, safety and security, and then put out all of these demands? It makes it impossible.
Well, what you don't have is clips of Democratic senators saying this because they know it's a death blow to the party. President Trump made a brilliant political move and good for the country to go to the middle. Wall plus DACA plus TPS. I've had more Democratic senators talk to me in the last 2 days than talk to me in the last 30 days. The harder Nancy Pelosi goes left and the more Trump goes to the middle, we're going to get this thing solved.
Well, tomorrow I can see Chuck Schumer lining up all the Democrats to vote against that compromise plan. And again, TPA, DACA, Dreamers. And, by the way, the House on the wanting to pay the furloughed employees, Republicans, no Democrats supporting that either. So I guess that was a lie also.
Well, what's going to happen, you'll have a vote tomorrow on the president's plan that will get almost all Republicans, very few Democrats. We'll have Schumer's proposal that I'll vote against. Then the hard work starts. We had a meeting today with about 8 Democrats and about 8 Republicans. And, you know, Nancy Pelosi's become a nightmare for the Democratic Party. She seems unreasonable. She seems to have a dislike for the president that is hurting the country. And this idea of not letting the president speak is really overplaying your hand. So I want to let your listeners know that there's a reaction to this far-left rhetoric in the Senate by more mainstream Democrats that I think will eventually allow us to get the wall funded and do some things for the DACA recipients and TPS recipients. There's a deal in the making, and the more extreme Nancy Pelosi gets, the more likely we'll have a deal.
It can't include amnesty. You're going to lose every conservative supporter of the president, but it's not included. The president was pretty clear about that.
I promise you it will not.
Okay. It seems like Nancy Pelosi is intimidated and afraid of this new radical extreme element.
Yeah, I think so.
I think she fears that she will lose her position as Speaker very quickly. What is your take and interpretation on the Constitution, Article 2, Section 3?
Well, I think the president has a lot of power. I mean, she can disinvite him to the House, but come to the Senate, Mr. President. There's plenty of places the president can choose to deliver the State of the Union. But here's the question for America. What kind of union do you want? Do you want a country that looks more like Venezuela and less like America? If you do, follow these hard left people. They're going to take you to the land where the government taxes everything in its power. They control every decision in life, and you'll see Venezuela come here. This is what this whole election is going to be about in 2020. Do we go further left and become like Venezuela, or do we become the America that all of us want us to be? So if I'm a Democrat, these people are defining my party in a way that gives it a very limited future in America, in my view. So
the president, to me, obviously, and I agree with him, views this as life and death, safety and security of the American people, stopping the heroin, the 90% of the heroin in this country from coming across the border, fentanyl. He's about life and death. That seems like a principled, strong position. Also part of his, when he pledges to faithfully serve and protect the Constitution. That means it's people. He's the commander-in-chief, as per the Constitution. What is the Democratic position? They don't want DACA. They don't seem to care about furloughed employees. They don't seem to care about Dreamers. What is this fight about then for them?
They want Trump to fail more than they want the country to win. $1 for the wall. Does that make sense in light of the caravans that have been coming? A broken border is more dangerous to the country than a partial government shutdown. In their world, there is no ICE. You get $1 for the wall, and the Border Patrol agents are gassing children, not defending the country from an onslaught. So my view is that Democrats in the Senate are going to become more reasonable as these people define extreme positions. The president made a very smart move by putting on the table relief for DACA recipients, TPS recipients, which the Democrats have been for decades. Now, let's see what kind of Democratic Party we've got. Do we have a Democratic Party that hates Trump so much they will say no to 1.1 million people having a better life? Or will we have some Democratic senators and some Democratic House members join with the president and me to solve this problem? Time will tell.
Look, the president, it seems, he does have other options. When we're dealing with drugs,
yes, he does.
Gangs, cartels,
yes.
Human trafficking, drug trafficking, real radical elements. And that's only the 2%. I believe the other 98% that don't respect our laws, but they come here for a better life for themselves and their families. I believe that, having been down there a lot. So then the question is, when the president goes alone, national emergency, what happens next?
Well, if I were him, I would use my power as commander-in-chief to build that wall, because he promised to build it. Every Democrat has voted for wall funding except when President Trump became president. But here's the way to go, I think. If I were the president, I would ask Nancy Pelosi, if a bill passes the Senate that has wall funding, protection for DACA and TPS, would you take it up in the House? If she says yes, I would open the government for 3 weeks, let the Senate see if we can reach a deal, and if we can't, I would use the emergency powers as the commander-in-chief to bring this debacle to an end.
I'm not sure if he gives up his leverage, but if he's prepared to do the national emergency, that means he's committed one way or the other to getting this done.
One way or the other.
Senator, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.